Hey mamas, most women spend their pregnancies envisioning themselves going into labor naturally and in their own timing, but it doesn't always happen that way. And so when an induction becomes medically necessary, you're sort of caught off guard not knowing what to expect or what to even know about inductions, causing anxiety, fear, and uncertainty. Whether an induction has become suddenly medically necessary or you've been planning for an induction for a while now, it's important that you are informed and educated walking into your experience so that you can walk out empowered with a positive birth memory. I'm Bridget and I'm a childbirth educator and birth doula, and it's my honor to support mamas just like you to become educated, to feel empowered, and to have positive pregnancies, births, and postpartum experiences. If you're new and looking for empowering information about how you are built to birth, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell, and check out all the videos on this channel. So there are several things that can be used to induce labor. So by the end of this video, you are going to know specifically about the use of Cytotec, which is also called MISOPROSTOL. Knowing what this drug is, how it works, its risks, and its benefits will help you make informed decisions with your care provider for the best birth experience. So Cytotec is a brand of medication commonly used, and it is made out of misoprostol, which is a synthetic or man-made version of a hormone that your body produces called prostaglandins. And prostaglandins are very important in the process of labor because they help ripen the cervix, and by ripen, I mean it helps your cervix get really soft and expandable, which is essential for dilation to happen and ultimately the birth of your baby. So if it has been determined that baby is going to be safer outside the womb than in it, either because you are 2 weeks beyond your estimated due date, you have gestational diabetes, or your amniotic fluid or placenta isn't doing what it needs to, or whatever that medical reason may be, your cervix will likely be examined by your care provider to help gauge how to begin the labor induction process best. I talk all about vaginal or cervical exams in this video that I've linked up here, but basically the purpose when inducing labor is to feel the cervix. Is it soft? Is it thinning? Is it opening? Is it in an anterior position rather than a posterior one? And if the cervix is not really soft, misoprostol might be given to help start the ripening process. This drug can be taken orally or it can be placed vaginally up by the cervix and is typically given every 4 to 6 hours. Although misoprostol is considered to be safe and effective for labor induction, it is not approved by the Food and Drug Administration or FDA because of its potential risks for mom and baby, such as a uterus that contracts too often and powerful, and uterine or placental rupture when used improperly. Because Cytotec can cause this hyperstimulation of the uterus, your care provider might not prescribe it to you to induce your labor if you've had a previous cesarean birth. However, most doctors agree that the benefits do outweigh the risks for women who have not had C-sections, and Cytotec, when used with the proper dosage, which is about 25 micrograms vaginally every 4 to 6 hours or 25 to 50 micrograms orally every 4 to 6 hours for a full-term pregnancy, can be more effective than the use of fake oxytocin, also called Pitocin, in achieving a vaginal birth. But still, because there is a risk of hyperstimulation of the uterus where the uterus is contracting too frequently and too powerfully, close monitoring of mama and baby is important to make sure that mama doesn't get to a point where those risks become realities. This is why, though, it's given in very low doses over a period of time. So this is something to be aware of if you are approaching your own induction. How will they give it to you, vaginally or orally? According to data from several studies, oral misoprostol is as effective as when it's given vaginally. It helps lessen the risk for infection, and it is associated with a higher likelihood of achieving a vaginal birth within 24 hours. Also know about how much you are going to be given. Again, with the low dosage, the incidence of serious illness or death of the mother or baby is very rare. However, that doesn't mean other interventions don't become necessary to make sure that you and baby stay safe. Will you use Cytotec on its own or in conjunction with another induction method? Sometimes all it takes is a few doses of the misoprostol to get the uterus stimulated enough to kickstart labor. And I actually have a mama from the Built to Birth podcast podcast who shares about her birth story being induced this way that you can check out in this link up here. However, a lot of times this cervical ripening agent will be used alongside another method of labor induction, often the Foley bulb, which I will be putting a video out about on this playlist, or depending on when you're watching this, might already be out and can be watched by going to the list of videos in this induction playlist. And then something to be mentally prepared for is the fact that you and baby will be monitored while you are using medication to keep an eye on your surges and how strong and frequent they are and baby's heart rate. If contractions become too powerful and frequent, the risk is that baby will be cut off from blood flow and oxygen, which will often result in a C-section, because at that point, baby is going to be safer outside of the womb than in it, and so everyone wants them to be born as soon as possible. So I encourage you to think about how will you try to encourage labor while being hooked up to the monitors. So using Cytotec does help induce labor. It helps result in a vaginal birth over the use of Pitocin alone, but can take at least 24 hours. So being patient and flexible is a must, and it is something that needs to be monitored to make sure that you and your baby are handling it healthily. If you and your care provider decide to use Cytotec, you can be excited that you are on your way to meeting your baby, now equipped with the information and knowledge you need to make the decisions necessary to give you a positive birth experience. Understanding both the risks and the benefits and doing what you can to avoid the risks is going to be so important in this process. If you are a mama who is being induced, I encourage you to think of ways that you can use this medication, Cytotec, without heightening the risks of the cascade of interventions, which is when, because of one intervention, another one and another one and another one also have to be used. Some ideas are to ask lots of questions. Use your brain, which is an acronym to help you ask the right questions during labor, which I talk about in this video linked up here. Move around in labor, change positions often, create a calming environment that I talk about in this video up here, and remember that you are built to birth, mama. I know it can be nerve-wracking to be facing an induction, so I encourage you to strengthen your mind and body connection by utilizing the Built to Birth affirmation meditations, which you can get through the link in the description below. Where your mind leads, your body follows, and if you are approaching your birth anxious and untrusting of your body and baby, it's only going to slow and hinder the birthing process. Plus, after watching this video and the rest of the videos in this induction playlist as they come out, everything you learn will equip and empower you to have a beautiful birth, even if it starts out in a way that you didn't expect. Mama, you got this. You are built to birth. Thanks for being with me in this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, mama.